Michael, I know you took a look at this, his ties with intelligence, ties with the Justice Department, but you also have questions about his behavior with women, girls, and others. So what are the questions? Because I'm as open-minded as anybody to how dirty and disgusting Jeffrey Epstein was at any point in his adult life or otherwise. But I haven't seen anything in here supporting pedophile ring or even sex trafficking ring of underage girls really at any point.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think it's important. I would like to be on the record saying that I do think that this has become a moral panic. I talk to, people in my life when they think it's something different than it is. I mean, they think that they're preying on really young girls. And I know that you got into trouble earlier for making the distinction, but I think it is important for people to understand the distinction there. And I just think a lot of the people that have, come under fire or lost their jobs.
Just to be clear, because a pedophile is someone who is attracted to prepubescent children. And the DSM-5 says under age 13, prepubescent. And then they have two other words for if you're into adolescent girls or a little older, like teenage girls. Like I can't remember what it is. It's just like pedophile, but with a different prefix. But yeah, pedophile does not technically legally apply unless your thing is prepubescent children under the age of 13.
I think it's misleading from that perspective. I think it's also misleading. I mean, I think that there is this, there's an exchange between him and Steve Tisch, where he says, Tisch is like, oh, I met this girl at your party. Can we connect? And then Epstein says, I'd rather not do this over email. Let's talk about it over phone. I think that there is a picture of Epstein, grooming young women, moving them to powerful men. But I don't think that's not how he makes his money. Mike Benz, says that sort of girls grease deals is the way you would think about it. You'd have a lot of young women around to make it sort of attractive for people to want to hang out with them. But I mean, he's making his money through $25 million fees to the Rothschilds, not by moving women around. But I will say, I do think that, look, there's awful people. Like, I think all these people are awful. Like, and it's really important. I condemn it, and this behavior is terrible. But we are back to where we were with Me Too, where just any association with Epstein is enough to get you to have to, step down from your position. And so I think we saw it with, Pritzker. There's no evidence of crimes. It's not even clear that he understood what was going on. Fergie had to step down from a charity. I just think we're at a place where people are just like, the boards of these organizations are just like, we have to get rid of these people. And I do think that that's bad. And that's just guilt by association. And that's unethical. Yeah. And we don't agree with that.
I understand the Rumler thing, because she's in the position of being the top and most trusted law enforcement officer at Goldman Sachs. She's the general counsel. She's the one whose integrity, judgment, and honesty matters literally the most of anybody at Goldman Sachs. And they deal with people's fortunes for a living. You cannot have somebody there who's lying as much as she appears to have about her relationship with somebody as controversial as Epstein, and who has the piss poor judgment to be the guy's BFF after, as a lawyer, seeing what he pleaded guilty to and seeing what was in that Miami Herald. Like, I'm sorry, but she had to go. I'm sorry. I don't feel bad for Catherine Rumler at all. But I do think, like, Peter Attia has taken a big hit as a result of these Epstein files. And I haven't looked that one up in like a week or two since it hit. But my understanding on Peter Attia, the author of Outlived, and he's a longevity guy now, he's been on the show, is he was friends with Epstein. He wrote him an email saying, the problem with being friends with you is your real life is just so unbelievable, and yet you can't talk to anybody about it. Like Peter Attia, cannot tell anyone about it.
Right.
Which doesn't suggest he saw Epstein with underage girls. It does suggest he'd seen some sort of debauchery, potentially. And the controversy was he was with Epstein and about to be with Epstein, I think, as his son was born and in the maternity ward still with his wife, and he didn't go up to be with them.
And Megyn, instead, for me, my reaction is sort of
he stayed with Epstein.
Yeah. My reaction is like, are we going to get in there and try to figure out whether or not Peter Attia did the right thing in his relationship with his wife? What are we doing here exactly? Like, for me, it's a prime. I'm really glad that Barry Weiss at CBS has remained firm on this. We're not going to cancel Peter Attia by presuming that we understand what the whole situation was there with his wife. That's absurd. So I do think that's a great
Well, the other
example.
thing, Michael, is he admitted in his book to being a douchebag for a large period of his adult youth, if you will, with that term, his younger adult years. His book lands in a way where you're like, oh my God, like you learn a lot about Peter. Did he confess everything? No. But like, if you read his book, you knew he really had some serious issues earlier in his adult life. And it's like, I feel like it's not a great story, but it really is between Peter and his family. What went on there. I would still put Peter on this show in a heartbeat. I think he's done a lot to help people with their wellness. But I also need to check myself on not having a double standard for, Rumler, who worked for Obama, and Bannon, who I love. And I think he's great. I'm really trying to check myself on not judging people based on their partisan stripes. Go ahead, Emily.
Well, yeah, I mean, the stuff here, like one of the keywords, if you search the Epstein library for visa, what it looks like is that Epstein was coordinating with modeling agencies, like Jean-Luc Brunel, obviously, who died under relatively mysterious circumstances back in 2022 in a French prison. Jean-Luc Brunel, Epstein, like he was procuring visas for women and then helping them out. That's why people resigned at Columbia University, because Epstein greased his kids with like $100,000 donation to Columbia, got one of these women into the dental school. And so he's procuring women, helping with visas, going through modeling agencies, bringing them, and then either they're his girlfriends, or you can tell he's corresponding with other men. I mean, here, let me just read from this email that I found last night, which is like lewd, but it is. So somebody asks him, basically someone says, I asked her, we don't know who her is, about girls in Moscow and Tokyo for me. Also, does she have any good girls in LA? But I didn't mention you. And then they go on to say, now I'm finding P-word for you, Epstein says. Something wrong with that? And then the guy responds, no one can beat your P-word network. So it's a known joke, with this guy at least, that Epstein had a P-word network. And what's interesting about that in the trafficking context is that if this is understood to be prostitution, in that you are coming to the United States, Epstein is greasing the skids to help you get this visa and help the modeling agency, and they're doing it for purely sexual purposes, that maybe it comes with other advantages, but it's really sexual, that you can see actual trafficking, potentially, a prostitution ring in that. And so that one final point in that is, when you go back to the original stories, like the original Julie K. Brown story, the Palm Beach police do have women on the record that have spoken to the media since. Courtney Wild, who says she was 14 years old and she was basically helping him run a pyramid scheme at her school when she was still in braces. So there is before and after, and they are distinct, but the sexual stuff is bad and potentially very illegal too.
Yeah,
Megyn, I know. Like I was saying, you can be trafficked even though you are of age. Right. It's happened to many women. International disputes, inflation, rising national debt, digital currency. There is a never-ending list of reasons gold has risen over 700% in the last 20 years. And a never-ending list of reasons smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals with Birch Gold Group. Gold can thrive during uncertainty, which is why it is a crucial part of a balanced strategy. It gives you peace of mind given all the events that could impact the U.S. economy. See if holding gold in a tax-sheltered retirement account is right for you. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. Just text MK to the number 989898 to receive your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just useful information. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, consider letting Birch Gold help you diversify with gold, so you too can have peace of mind regardless of the uncertainty. Text MK to the number 989898. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.